You made a great decision to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, because we are talking defense with inside linebacker Logan Wilson. This guy is a complete football player, plays the run and the pass equally effectively, converted from a defensive back, kept growing, getting stronger, moved inside to the linebacker position. In my opinion, as good a pass defender against that part of the football game as any linebacker in the National Football League. He's got a lot to talk about with respect to his defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, his teammates, the team speed, and watching them and organized team activities out there. They can run defensively and offensively. This Bengals football team has as good a team speed as they've ever had, in my opinion. Welcome once again, and appreciate you joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always, in our outstanding studios at First Star Logistics. And we've got an outstanding guest, friend of our podcast, videocast. He's done this before. Football player extraordinaire, linebacker extraordinaire, number 55 in your program, number 1 in your heart, Logan Wilson. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, when I see 55, man, I remember a guy wore number 55 who put many of a bone across my forehead, throwing that forearm. Jimmy LeClaire was his name at linebacker, and Bill Berge, Jim LeClaire, Vontez Burfict. There have been a lot of, high-profile middle linebackers as such, inside linebackers on this football team. You fit that category big time. In your estimation, what does it take to be a linebacker that's going to succeed in the National Football League?
Well, for one, I think that, you have to have physical ability. I mean, that's pretty much a given in this league. If you don't have the physical ability to play at this level, then you won't make it. But I think that the underrated aspect is the mental aspect, being able to process things, in, milliseconds, literally. On the field. I think that your processing skills and things that you can kind of develop within the mental aspect of your game, I think are the biggest reason why guys do or don't make it, because especially, every system's different, but there's a lot of, different things within each system that you got to know how to do and understand what the guys around you are doing. And then in turn, it usually helps you play a lot faster.
So you converted from defensive back to linebacker, continue to grow, get bigger, stronger. When you first made that transition down a level, from the outside to the inside, was it easier? Did you have a better understanding of the passing game as a result of your experiences in the secondary, and it took a little bit longer to get familiar with what's going on in the running game, or was that not an issue?
I definitely think it took a little bit to get adjusted to the running game more so than the passing game, just because, I really developed my whole life as a defensive back. And so I kind of learned how to move like a defensive back. And I feel like that part of my game translated over a lot more smoothly. And then obviously, you're a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. And so being able to get off blocks with block mechanics and block protection and being able to diagnose run schemes and, that kind of stuff, I think more than anything just kind of takes some time.
The thing that a lot of people don't understand is in the National Football League, man, once you get in, start playing in those preseason games and the regular season starts, your body's not right again physically until, the off season. But then there's that, but then there's dealing with, major injury. And that shoulder injury that you dealt with, man, I mean, playing inside linebacker in the National Football League with the type of shoulder injury that you had to deal with, you have to be mentally tough. I mean, you have to have a pain tolerance threshold that's crazy. I can remember playing one year with a AC joint separation, and they put the donut on it and all that, dissipate contact. But when you're moving, man, I mean, it's such a, you have to grit your teeth because you know what's coming, and the hardest thing for me was extra point and field goal, because I'd go down inside and they just blast that shoulder, be like, man, just grit your teeth and bear it. I mean, so
Yeah.
I have a heavy respect for what you went through. What's it like now, not having to deal with that, or you're still dealing with the post after effects of that with that shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best now than it's been since, I injured it on that day in December, whatever day it was
Right.
against the Chargers. And then, playing through it, like I'm not big on taking like a painkiller or any kind of, stuff of that nature. I don't want to do that stuff.
Yep.
If I can't withstand the pain, then it's probably not worth playing through. So, I think that's part of the game, obviously, is playing through a lot of pain. And, I think I'd like to say that I do have a high pain tolerance, even though it doesn't mean it feels good all the time. And it's obviously not every tackle makes it hurt, but it's just kind of sporadic. It depends what type of tackle it is, how your shoulder's situated, especially when I injured it. And I never really wanted to have surgery, but I knew long-term wise that it was only going to get worse if I didn't get it fixed. And now labrum repair is a pretty minor surgery. It's just a couple little sutures. It's a scope that they do in your shoulder. And, 10 years ago, it was a big old slice, like a couple inches into your shoulder. So, long run, I'm glad I definitely got it fixed.
Man, torn labrum and having to, hit these backs that have a good bit of body mass and they can run. And man, you just do the physics of that. That's some serious force that you're dealing with there for sure. Did you? I remember you had that harness and playing with that restriction. How did you adapt to that? What kind of things did you have to do to try to compensate for the lack of what that shoulder was going to be giving you?
Yeah, I think before I put that on, I talked to my agent, and he's had clients that have had to do the same thing, and everyone said they hated the harness, and I honestly didn't mind the harness because it just kind of I knew it was going to help my shoulder just kind of stay where it needed to stay, and then I just kind of just naturally adjust on certain things. But in terms of like protecting it and keeping it safe from maybe further damaging it, sometimes it's kind of inevitable that it's going to happen. But the harness definitely helped. It does restrict some motion, but that's also what it's supposed to do. So.
Speed is such a huge asset. There is no question about it. And when I watched this football team, the draft picks that you guys took early on, the defensive backs, I mean, these guys, they can run. You can run at the linebacker position. Pratt runs well. This football team, as an overall team, has well above average team speed. I mean, can you feel that when you're out there on the field watching you guys, the tempo – without even shoulder pads, just helmets and shorts? Man, the speed and the tempo you guys practice with is really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you practice how you play, right? I mean, that's what a wise man once told me anyway. I think it's just important that it also helps that we're, now in years. A lot of guys are in years 3 and 4 or more within this system. And so the mental processing is even faster than it's ever been. And guys know where they need to be, what they need to do on each and every play, and guys have the confidence to do that, and that's why we practice like that.
You made a great point. You got a lot of you guys are in year 3 and year 4 as players, as a coaching staff. I mean, the continuity between all of that, and when you have that kind of dynamic between coaches and players, man, that's something that money can't buy. I mean, that's just a big time deal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the thing is like it's rare, for that to happen in the NFL, for you to have the same coaching staff and not lose a coach, or it's just it's rare to have the continuity that we have right now. And, we're blessed to, have Lou back running our show on defense, and looking forward to just continue to improve. And, he's a player's coach, and guys really enjoy playing for him.
How do the coaches, Lou in particular, and then all the position coaches, how do they handle it when you have a new guy come in, like your safeties? Dax, though, is a carryover, but you have a new safety back there. When a new player comes in from another organization in particular, not a guy coming from year 1 to year 2, big strides are made from year 1 to year 2, and everybody thinks Dax Hill is going to fall into that category. When you have guys coming from other systems, how does Lou handle that? Does he dumb it down until that guy gets up to speed with everybody, or does he keep it where it is with everybody and keep advancing? And hey, it's that guy's job to get his nose in the playbook and catch up to everybody. How does that happen?
Yeah, it's definitely the latter, what you just said, that, we're still going to continue to install stuff that, more advanced than what we've had in the past. And the new guys, it's just on them to get up to speed. And, our front office has done a great job of bringing in guys that are capable of doing that and, want to do that more importantly. And so it's just a matter of time before those guys figure everything out, meeting extra with their coach or whatever they need to do to figure it out.
So Lou obviously has been around for a while. He knows what he has. He knows the football IQ of the players that he has, and he's real excited about that. So the mad scientist goes in that defensive lab and he starts playing with things. How does in this time of year during OTAs, mini camps, before even training camp starts, how many things does Lou dabble with? I mean, is he always experimenting? Is he taking a look at a package during one of the times that you're out there working out and I like the way that looks. Maybe we'll bring that back a little bit in training camp. How does that process all evolve at this time of year?
I think it just probably depends on how, we did the previous year with certain schemes and what he liked about them and what he didn't like about them, and more like a self-evaluation period. I think that for the most part, we just get kind of like right now, we're just getting the basic stuff that we know we're going to run. Like it's a guarantee we're going to run because we've been running it for, since he's been here right now. And, who knows, maybe in training camp by then they'll figure something out that they want to just try out. And then we try it against our offense. And if he doesn't like it, it goes. And if he likes it, it sticks. So it just kind of, varies, for each time, each defense he's trying to figure out what to do with.
And then on a week-to-week basis, I mean, he really he definitely has some tweaks. There's no question about that. Is there a game plan when he installed a game plan? Is there anyone that comes to mind where it's like, wow, that's even exceptionally creative, even though it's Lou, and Lou does this all the time. Is there anyone that sticks out in your mind, or is it such a regular thing that no big deal? Lou came up with another one that this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think for me, it's gotten to that point where it's just like, this is what he does. He's
Right.
good at figuring this kind of stuff out, and we expect him to be doing that kind of stuff to put us in position to take advantage of some weaknesses on the opposing team offense. So that's what he's done week in and week out.
So now that you've been there for a period of time with Lou and other guys on the team, how does he involve players? Because I know he likes players' opinions on things. I mean, is it just like an open door policy? If there's something you really like or something that might be bothering a player or whatever, I mean, is it just open lines of communication with Lou in terms of when he's presenting stuff to you?
Yeah, pretty much. It might just be like on the practice field, and, we get a certain play versus a certain coverage that we're in, and it's like, that's kind of not great versus that play, and so it's just kind of, I think it just happens, whenever it happens. It's nothing like we have a specific meeting that we talk through all this kind of stuff. It's just a two-way street. It could be on the practice field. It could be right after a meeting. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever way we can all work together to try to get ourselves a Super Bowl.
As I look out there in the practice field when you guys are doing the organized team activities now, the football gods hopefully going to be kind to you this year with respect to injury. Sam Hubbard looks a lot. He said his body hasn't felt this good in a long time. Joe Burrow, same type of thing. He said his body hasn't felt this good at this stage of the offseason, in a while. It looks like, knock on wood, that the football team seems to be, man, a lot of guys, the way guys look out there, and if they can, man, if the football gods would be kind this year, this team, pretty darn impressive looking football team.
Yeah, and I think a big reason why guys feel as good as they do right now is because our head coach takes very good care of us too this time of year. I know a lot of teams are kind of going at it and maybe hitting each other, maybe not as hard as they would be if they had pads on, and just doing things that a little differently than what we do here. And guys really, enjoy and respect that Coach Taylor takes care of us the way he does. We're not really starting we won't put helmets on until next week for the last 2 weeks of these OTAs. And that's a big reason why guys are healthy, why guys feel as good as they do. It's like extra time to, bounce back from the season. And, he understands that the season is 17 games minimum. And then if you're going far in the playoffs, like we have the last couple of years, those games can add up pretty quickly. So it's important to kind of limit that wear and tear while you can. And he definitely understands that. And guys enjoy that.
Now, have you noticed that it might take a beat for rookies and veterans that are coming in from other organizations that may have experienced a different scenario with respect to OTAs, that learning how to practice is part of the deal? And you guys, I mean, you get a lot done. And you guys, like I said, the tempo and speed with which you guys practice is impressive to watch. You're getting it done without beating on each other. Does it take guys a little bit of time to figure out how to learn how to practice like you guys are?
Yeah, depending where they came from, especially younger guys, they're trying to kind of make a name for themselves. And rightfully so. It's completely understandable, but it just takes time to understand how we practice at this level, because we're not necessarily worried about individual accolades as much as we are about that Super Bowl trophy. So I think it just takes guys time. It's funny, we call those guys who go maybe a little harder than they should tempo violators. And so you don't want to be a tempo violator in the team meeting.
Tempo violator. That's I like that term. Ours was dummy hero. It's like, hey, dude, this is like supposed to be half speed. You're playing like all out here. What's the deal? You're a dummy hero. What's the story, man?
Just relax.
Yeah. Chill a little bit.
It's all above the neck.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. So you look at your division. I mean, it is extremely competitive in this division. I mean, you look at the AFC as a whole. I mean, there are 10 quarterbacks in the AFC probably that if any one of them have a good year, they can go to the Pro Bowl and they can lead their team into a deep playoff run. There is so much talent in the AFC. It is unbelievably competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's probably one of, if not the best division or toughest division in football right now. You think about from the top to the bottom, however you want to organize that, the teams in this division are tough, and it's always been that way, and it probably always will be. But that's how we like it. It's going to make us better throughout the season too.
And you guys experienced a scenario where 0-2 to start the season, 0-3 in your first division games, but then you come right back and you win all the rematches in the division matchups and have another great season. But certainly, you'd like to get off to a better start, not put yourself in a hole to dig out of, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's only, at that time, that was what happened, and we just kind of controlled the next game mindset and just grew from it. But obviously, you never want to start off like that. And but then again, our team, this conference is good, and so we're gonna have our hands full every time we play any team in our division.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And in the AFC as a whole, it is an uber competitive scenario. During the course of the season, do you, as a defense, does Lou have, like, I don't know, 3 keys or 3 musts or 3 goals or whatever, that no matter what, come hell or high water, we want to accomplish these 3 things every single week that we go out there and we play defensive football? Or is it in flux? I mean, is it depending on the type of offense you're playing against and type of guy at quarterback or whoever the big weapons are? How does, or is he not goal oriented that way at all? Is it just, let's just go out and play football? How does Lou handle that type of thing?
No, we do have goals each and every week. It just depends on who we're playing. One of the goals always remains very similar, if not the same, from week to week, and that's in terms of turnovers, batted balls, strip attempts, stuff like that. We have a certain threshold we like to hit, because usually when we hit that threshold, we get the turnovers that we need in crucial times to get the ball back to our offense.
So you are a linebacker that can play the run and the pass equally well. What what floats your boat more? Making an interception in the red zone or making a fourth down stop inside the 5-yard line that prevents a touchdown? Or are they equally thrilling to you?
Oh man, I don't know. You said a fourth down stop. I mean, they're in a sense they're both a turnover, so I would probably go with either one. But I do like playing coverage, just because of my growing up being a defensive back my whole life. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably say the interception.
And you've made some memorable plays already. I mean, at early stages of your career, it's been phenomenal. That's one thing too that you guys have hung your hat on, is making the big play, whether it's a takeaway or a goal line stand or holding a team to a field goal in the red zone. When you had to have it defensively, you guys have risen up and made so many plays that have led to wins. No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, those are like the opportunities that you live for as a guy on defense. And then we just got guys to prepare, and so when those opportunities come, they take advantage of it. And that's a big reason why we've made those plays that we have on defense.
So when you're in the huddle, and it's a huge time in the game where I had we got to go make a play here. Who is it? Is there a guy in the huddle that is in a crazed state or whatever, trying to fire guys up? Is everybody in that huddle business-like, but very, very ready to make a play? What's the huddle like?
I mean, everyone's pretty business-like and just trying to do their job at a high level. And whoever's opportunity is to make that play, we count on those guys to do so. That's just kind of the mindset that we have on defense. No one's freaking out or pointing a finger or trying to hype each other up. We understand what needs to be done, and it's just about going out and doing it.
Now, Sam Hubbard is getting a lot of burn about that 98-yard fumble recovery touchdown, and rightfully so. I mean, 98 yards, that's a heck of a performance by him to be able to run it. But it doesn't happen without you and Pratt getting up and over the top. How do you feel about your guy at the linebacker position, your guy's contribution to forcing that turnover that was huge in that football game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big time for G to stand him up like that. And as soon as I saw him reach it over, just like my natural reaction to just prevent the ball from crossing the plane of the goal line. And luckily I hit it enough, and it's hard to tell, but Jermaine got his arm on his arm, and it probably all had its role in getting the ball loose, and it fell right into Sam's arms. And I think the rest is history.
It is. It's all good history. There's no question about it. And Bengals defensive football team is a force to be reckoned with. And Lou Anarumo is so proud of you guys and the way you guys play. And I know you guys think the world of him. I mean, when that type of relationship between coaches and players, that type of bond is so strong, man, good things can happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have a coach that's not worth playing for, you're not going to go out there and play hard. He doesn't have your respect. You're not going to do what he wants you to do. And I think that Lou's been such a player's coach, and he understands everyone's abilities, and he puts them in their, best position to be successful within every scheme. And guys respect that, and guys want to play hard for him. And, and more importantly, too, play hard for the other 10 guys that are out on the field with you at the same time. We've developed a very good locker room that it's just easy to play for the guys next to you.
Logan Wilson, inside linebacker that plays at a very, very high level of intensity, athleticism, just a baller, man. True football player. Can't thank you enough for joining us, spending time with us. And I know that, it's not busy, but you're back to football. You guys you're meeting, you're going out in the football field, you're getting some things done. Thanks for carving time to join us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate you, sir. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Dave